It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And we're coming to you live from CB Gitty. It's the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
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 It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Welcome back to the Gitty Gang Show.
Well done, sir.
Sung intro. Yeah, we are here with you. Got Glenn Watt. We got Nick Lanciano currently adjusting the camera. Did you feel your world move?
Every day.
Something just happened. Anyway, thank you for joining us once again here on the Gitty Gang Show. As most of you who are out there probably already know, I see a lot of familiar names and faces out there. We're here every Friday at 2.
Yes.
Almost every Friday at 2, because as we're going to announce in a little bit, we're taking next Friday off. We're taking next Friday off from the show.
Oh, it's going to be a busy day that day.
It being Black Friday, all hands on deck here at Gitty. As you know, we aren't just a highly skilled professional live video production company.
It's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, I ain't going to lie. We also run this little thing in the back room here where we ship out some guitar parts. So, turns out next weekend, or next Friday, we're going to be doing that.
Maybe Shane can take the show.
Yeah, maybe Shane. Hey, Shane, you out there yet? Get off your duff spiel and do something.
Maybe we can get Shane to play some wagon wheels.
I don't think he's tuned in yet, so
No, he's not in.
and I don't think he'll watch it after the fact. So anyway, we got some good stuff. If you could see our script, there's a lot of words on it today. We've got some things to talk about, but we're going to try to intersperse the talkery with some music. As you can see, I've got the Cigar Box fiddle here. Glenn Watt holding the G bass, the original G bass. He's going to be picking up the 6-string guitar. Nick's got one of the mountain tenors over there, all tuned up and ready to roll. It sounds like she's in tune. All right, good stuff. Well, hopefully some of these songs, these tunes and songs we're going to be playing, you might have heard before. So if you've got your Gitties out there, your Cigar Box guitars handy, you know, keep them nearby. We'll see what happens. I know you haven't been watching, but who we got out there so far?
Oh, if I may start in YouTube land.
He's got the knee phone going.
Yeah, the knee phone. I got
know about it.
Gary DeRocha. Gary's out there.
Smart.
Wait, smart. Gary's out there. Then YouTube land. Sandrine Robe out in France. Bonjour. John's over in Denmark. We got international people out there in YouTube land.
Denmark. It's Guten Tag. It's in Germany.
Guten Tag. I don't know in Denmark. Danish.
Help us out, John. How do we say hello in Danish? And Christopher Wharton's out there in Arizona. It's good to see you, Chris Dubs. Mountain Grizz, Ted Stahl. I know I saw Walt Davis, Greg Tiffany, Rick Stevens, all out in YouTube land.
Wow.
What do you got over there in Facebook
Well,
land?
we've got a gentleman from Tanzania, East Africa, whose name, Dr. Ngumbi Nixon Hassanali.
Go with Dr. Nixon.
Welcome. First time, Dr. Nixon, yes. First time watcher there. Of course, Michael Capato, Adam Jellison. We got AMZ Adams out there. Hey, AMZ, down there in the Big Easy. Good to see you. Dave Cantonwine, Fred Kuntz, Jimbo Roll Tide Burt, the man himself. Steve Whittle, Philip Taylor, William Sneed, Shaq Collins over there in Shacksonville. Good to see you. Keith Rearick, Tom, you know, everybody. All the good ones are out there right now. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Friday afternoon. If you're counting, not much of a counter myself. Fortunately, we got Glenn Watt with us here today to tell us how many days remain until Christmas.
32. 32 days.
Practically
So
four and a half weeks.
You got 4 weeks.
I'll get there. Give me a second.
Before businesses stop shipping or
Yeah.
guaranteeing shipping times. You got about 4 weeks to get your stuff.
It's looking like the 21st will pretty much be the last day for orders to get out, with a reasonable hope of getting there on time.
Yeah, and it's not recommended that you wait until the 21st.
No.
Agreed.
No,
Agreed.
no.
Especially if you wanted to.
We will not be held responsible for ruining your Christmas, although we have been accused of it
I have
before.
been accused.
So, 32 days until Christmas.
Yeah.
We've been doing some sales here at CB Gitty, and all of you, the Gitty Gangsters, probably already know this. But just in case, I'm going to say it at least once during this show. Every made in the USA part, kit, and item that we have in our catalog is on sale right now for 20% off using the coupon code Uncle Sam, all one word, UNCLESAM, uppercase, Uncle Sam, 20% off. Enter that during checkout, and you will realize those savings on. And we got, where am I? We got a bunch of stuff. There's over 400 products that we sell that are made in the USA. We make a lot of them here. Get some from other folks. There's some things I hadn't even realized would be hit by this, and one of them is AJ Gaither's kazoos. We've only got a couple left, one shipping out today.
That's great.
All of Janice Wilson Hughes's slides, all the J-Dub slides on sale, 20% off. All of Marty Tauber's Wicked Buckers, all that stuff. Ron Hall's Hobo slides and spoon slides, all that great stuff that we sell.
Did you say Wicked Buckers?
I did.
Then we also have the nickel pickups. Is that correct?
Yeah, the single pole John Nickel pickups. There's one laying right there on top of the old
there.
amp.
Speaking of that,
We've had these back in stock for a while now. These are pretty cool things, hand wound. I know it just looks like a bag with some stuff in it, but yeah, single pole pickups with a little sheet there showing how to use them.
There's been good reviews on those.
Good reviews in the past few
They were
days.
very popular when we originally carried.
do we have the American-made in stock Rod Pizzo embedded bridge from
Turkey chicken?
Chicken?
I think we still have. I don't know if we have any more of those left right now or not.
Well, we do. So we also support. Obviously, Ben also supports American crafters
try.
and builders.
My
It's
God.
not just us. Which there's
Well,
a lot.
that's why, yeah, no, Janice isn't
Yep.
technically on our payroll.
Yeah.
not on the payroll,
No.
but yeah. And neither is Marty, technically. But anyway, all that stuff on sale. Coupon code Uncle Sam, 20% off. A wide swath of the catalog.
I think I was talking to Marty the other day. He said something like, what, 4,000 Wicked Buckers? He's on the... I think Marty will be able to tell me, but he's up to that number.
Wowzers.
That's a lot of wicked
Online
buckers.
in the
Ain't
last
gonna
2
lie. I
years.
know we sell a lot of them. Lordy.
Everyone, and this is I had a gentleman down in Texas.
You're not coming through very loud on the audio there, Nick.
Let me get a little bit closer.
While he's adjusting, I want to say
Get
hi
a
to
little
Porter
bit
Studio
closer.
and White Knights out there too.
We had a gentleman down in Texas that was raving about it. Couldn't believe how thin a pickup it was and how great the sound was from
Nice.
it. So,
Well, I
don't
can't
need to
believe
tell
it
you
either.
Guys, but he was blown away.
That's cool.
Dr. Nixon out there says he wants to build his first cigar box guitar and is asking for pointers. I'll tell you what, cigarboxguitar.com is a site chock full of information, free plans to get you started building your first one. Cigarboxnation.com is full of free plans as well. And even on the news blog at CB Gitty, there's some informational articles. So I recommend you start how I did. There's that set of free plans for building a 3-string cigar box guitar. They're the ones I followed when I got started. Many others, thousands, uncounted thousands, have used those free plans. Available on cigarboxnation.com and cigarboxguitar.com. So
In the
there you go.
resources
All
tab.
roads lead to CBN.
Yep. Just hit the resources tab. Right on the top of the Cigar Box Nations page, you'll see home,
Resources.
but resources, and it's all free plans.
Yeah, buddy.
Dale Bucket out there on YouTube.
Dale. All right, here's a few more tidbits and announcements. The Republic of Texas Cigar Box Guitar Festival took place last weekend.
It did.
I saw some good stuff being posted on the Facebooks, various groups, Cigar Box Guitar Group and elsewhere, so it was good to see that. Just today I saw a little thing pop up in my news feed on my computer. Guitar World magazine has announced their top 30 blues guitarists, like right now, current top 30 blues guitarists.
I'm guessing.
Number 7.
7?
Number 7.
Miss Fish?
Samantha Fish. Number 7
Nice, dude.
on the top 30 blues guitarists list.
That's impressive.
I think the only lady on there too.
Well, good for her. I mean,
He's
that's,
one of the very few. So that was cool to see. They didn't mention her cigar box guitar, but that's all right. It was good to see her on there because, of course, you've probably already heard that the New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Fest has been rechristened, reimagined for this coming event as the Samantha Fish Cigar Box Guitar Festival. So that's some pretty cool stuff. Yeah. Another thing, one of the Gitty customers out there in Minnesota, Gibson Shoemaker,
yes.
recently got some good press there in a Minneapolis newspaper talking about his cigar box guitar building, how long he's been doing it, and also a nice kind of overview of the movement and the history. They got some quotes from Shane in there, so it was good to see that pop up. Always love to see Gitty friends and cigar box people in general getting some good press.
Yep.
Our feed seems to have died here, Glenn Watt.
Well, no, there we go.
Oh.
YouTube's out there. doing
YouTube, still going.
It was 1,600, not 4,000. Apparently I can't count.
Well, it's all just numbers, right? So I'm trying to get your comments pulled back up here. There we go.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right. What else? Gibson Shoemaker. Oh, wanted to send a quick shout out to, he's probably out there, our buddy Burton Philbrick has been, what's he been doing, Glenn Watt?
He's been posting some videos.
Posting
Thank
some
goodness.
videos. Taking.
And where?
Huh?
Where?
You tell me where.
I think it's at the Friends of Gitty Facebook group.
Yeah, buddy. And I think on the Cigar Box Guitar group and elsewhere, taking that plunge to putting yourself out there and making a video of yourself playing and putting it on the interwebs. That can be a big step for folks, and it's good to see Bert taking that step and putting it out there. So a shout out to him.
Yeah.
Speaking of posting videos, have you seen, Nick, that our own Glenn Watt has recently posted a couple of videos after a long hiatus?
I saw one of those.
Long
It was
hiatus. What songs have you?
Oh, I don't even know.
Yes, you do.
One's I'll Fly Away, and the other one is The Resurrected Sweetheart.
Nice.
Yep.
And they are lessons.
One's a lesson. Yeah, one's a lesson. Yeah, just yeah. So this whole bashful thing is because that's why I like video, because it's me in a room and nobody else. And I don't have to worry about any
20,
of this.
30, 50 takes,
Right.
get it just right, none
Exactly.
of this off the cuff.
Right.
Stuff.
So yeah, I got a lesson up there for I'll Fly Away, which is an old hymn. And
Hey, we could have a go at that one
love
in a
to,
little
yeah.
bit.
And you've probably seen that in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I'm I think the last human being who has not seen that movie. Literally the last. And The Resurrected Sweetheart is a kind of a celebration of a book that I found. I'll get into that if we have the time a little bit later, but it's hopefully something that everyone can do with the books that we have here. Not that one that I was talking about, the books that we have here, and I can maybe unpack some of that later. But
Okay.
moving on.
All right. Well, it's good to see you posting videos again.
Thank you.
A couple more quick things before we get to our first song. The Cigar Box Nation Christmas album is happening again this year. Every year, it's been various people over the years, but the members of Cigar Box Nation get together, record themselves playing, or their bands or whatever, playing Christmas songs, some traditional, some original, on their homemade instruments, and they submit them, and it gets put into a free downloadable album every year. So that's happening again this year. So
awesome.
Yeah, get over to cigarboxnation.com and check that out. And finally, one more tidbit, one more update. The old time / bluegrass songbook that I've been working on. I am slowly making progress on it. Somebody asked last week, will it be ready for Christmas? I don't know. I don't know if it will be or not, but I am plugging away at it. A lot of songs to do, about 85 more to go. So, yeah, got a ways yet to go. All right, well, let's do a little something here on the... I'm going to switch over to our overhead condenser mics for this so it can pick the fiddle up without blowing you out of the room. So give me a second to get these levels right. I'm going to bring down Bring up. There we go. House mic. House mic. 1, 2. Right there. All right. So this is the Americana medley. That's still a little high, maybe. Americana medley that I often have played on the hobo fiddle and various other instruments. Well, gonna try it now on the cigar box fiddle. For those of you who don't know, this is a 4-string cigar box fiddle built by Jim Morris down there in West Virginia, our good buddy Jim Morris. It's standard tuning, G, D, A, E, like a conventional fiddle would be. It's 3/4 scale, which means it's a little smaller than a full-size fiddle, but that's all right. And yeah, buddy, gonna have a go at it here. Now, I don't want to. All right, I'm just gonna do it. And there's still a ways to go, but that was, of course, Crawdad Hole, you get a line, I'll get a pole, honey, into When the Saints Go Marching In, oh, when the Saints go marching in, ending on, got it written down, Camptown Races.
That's the one.
Camptown Races, sing the song, doo-dah, doo-dah. That's an old Stephen Foster song there. So thank you for the comments during that. Yeah, I'm feeling better about the intonation, mostly, like not hitting sour notes as often, less squeaking and squawking. So it's starting to get there.
Well, it sounded good.
Speaking of fiddles, I'm going to switch us back over to the... Oh, no, that was Nick. Hey, there we are. All right, back on the lapel mics here. I posted a photo on the Gitty Friends of... the CB Gitty page yesterday or the day before, showing on my workbench a conventional fiddle. You know, I always hesitate to use the word real, because in my opinion, something handmade like this is about as real as it gets. So instead of calling something like this a real violin, I'll call it a conventional violin or a conventional fiddle. This was given to me, kind of traded to me by a buddy of mine, Frank Lanford, who's been on the show. It's been a while. he runs a session every Sunday down at an Irish pub in Dover, New Hampshire. And I traded him a banjolele, and one of the things that has come from that was this fiddle. Now, when he gave it to me, the soundboard was cracked, had a great big crack down here. It didn't have any strings. The tailpiece wasn't on it. So I took it and decided to learn myself a little bit about fiddle maintenance and repair. So I took it down, I glued that crack, clamped it back together. The finish was kind of rough and dinged up, so I thought I'd see what could be done about that. Tried a couple of things. I tried first sandpaper, and of course that just really made visible scratches. So then I took a fine, one of those 3M pads that are meant to replace steel wool, the gray one, the finest one, and really tried to buff out some of those scratches. And then I put walnut stain on it to kind of darken it down. It filled in some of the dings and made them dark instead of light, and kind of made it look a little older. And then of course got a fresh set of strings, got this tailpiece on there, and got the bridge, and got it all strung up. Now this is a full 4/4 scale instrument, which is a little longer scale than the cigar box one. So it requires a little bit different placement, but it's just something about an instrument you've worked on yourself that I paid a good bit of money for a conventional fiddle from a music store a few weeks back, and I kind of like this one better. And I think it might just be because I worked on it. Not going to play it right now. I'm going to hold this off a little bit longer. But speaking of fiddles, just today, did you see our buddy John Nickel? He posted it on his personal Facebook page. He's working on a cigar box fiddle using one of those redesigned punch boxes. They kind of redid their logo a little bit and their box design. It's a longer, narrower box, which is what Jim Morris says he now prefers for fiddle building. A longer, narrower box. It works a little bit better. And yeah, I didn't know John was into the fiddle building. He actually says he feels that building a fiddle, or even like a suitcase cello or something like that, because they're inherently fretless, can be easier than building a fretted cigar box guitar. Which is interesting.
Yeah. We have some long, thin boxes upstairs.
Boy, we got a lot of long, thin boxes upstairs. I want to pull up what John said about that photo, and actually that photo is in the resources folder. If you pull it in, I'll talk while Nick's pulling that photo in that John posted. He says he's digging the new punch box design, decided to turn it into one of his bowed string pet projects, which always takes way longer from overthinking and never having a consistent box to work with, that he's been staring at it for a few days until the path forward revealed itself. There it is on screen. Have you ever done that, though? Have you ever had something you knew was good and that you wanted to be just right, and you just kind of set it down, like set it there and just look at it a few times a day for a few days and mull over what it could be and where it should go? Well, that's what John says he did with this punch box. So he says to build, it would require a little fiddling, pun intended, I guess, to make it a full-scale violin, which was the original plan, but a couple of quick mods, and it's like the box was perfectly made for a 3/4 or 3/4 violin, which is, as I said, my cigar box fiddle that Jim Morris built is. It's just a little shorter scale, everything packed in a little tighter, and that in so doing it will even fit in a violin case, a conventional violin case, which is good. Mine will not, as I've discovered. He says his fingers are crossed, and if all goes well, he may consider building a few more like this. Finding the perfect cigar box for these sorts of projects is normally half the work. And I think he's right on that. You know, once you know what works for you and where you want to end up, you know, finding just what you need to make that happen helps a whole lot.
That's really cool. I hadn't seen it, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, it just popped up today, and it's like, hey, I'm going to be talking about fiddles and playing fiddles. Let's share what John's doing out there. It's always good to see stuff happening.
So you got the Chris Wharton, a relative newcomer to Cigar Box Nation, asking over on YouTube land if we have the possibility of a fiddle kit in the future.
Well, I saw that come up on the Facebooks too. Well, Nick, you've gotten some parts for building a fiddle now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. I want to. Can't really design a kit until one has built one for oneself. You know, to have an informed, authoritative voice in the how-to, you kind of need to know what the heck you're talking about. So hopefully a cigar box fiddle kit will become a thing.
Yeah.
I might make a video when I build it too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Just to kind of step through it, because I know there's been a lot of interest in the community on them now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Particularly since Gitty picked him up. So.
Well, you know, whatever.
He's a trendsetter, that Gitty.
Well,
Taste
But, you know,
maker.
we can't blame Gitty. We got to blame Jim.
Jim
It's
Morris.
all your fault,
He's
Jim.
been building. He's building out of all sorts of things out there. So yeah, I just want to say hello, Ron Mason out there,
Hey, Ron.
Nancy Leanne Hansen out there in Mount Morris, Michigan, Gary hopefully nearby, I imagine.
Goebel stepping in.
Rob Roble,
Nice, Robbie.
the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the Wizard of Destin, Florida.
All the above.
CBG wizard.
Yeah, buddy.
He doesn't have a wizardly beard, but we'll forgive him for that.
Sue Messiah says a fiddle kit would be great. Sue, stay tuned. Coming up shortly, we're going to be doing a hobo song. Glenn and I have been working out a hobo song. Sue, of course, a fellow beau, or would be a hobo in spirit, you might say, a sister of the road from the comfort of our armchairs. You know, it's a lot easier to love hobos from a distance, I've found, because actually doing it's pretty darn hard living. All right. So I talked about a little bit about what I learned. Back to this fiddle in working on it. The bridge here, if you've never looked at a violin close up, come on out here. You see how that bridge, it's a very tall bridge because of how the fretboard or the fingerboard is angled, and then the tailpiece angles up there. So that bridge is, you know, over about an inch and a quarter tall. Well, sometimes when you get, say if you buy an Amazon or a fiddle bridge off of Amazon or whatever, it might be too tall. So when I put this one under those strings, they were like over a quarter of an inch off the end of the fingerboard, way too high. So I'm like, well, I know what to do about that. I sand it down, put it back under, still a little high, and I had gotten the curvature wrong, so it's taken a few goes, and I had to forego the power sander and get out the hand file, put it under, okay, that's looking file, and then put the string notches back in. So there's that. What else did I learn? Yeah, don't use sandpaper on a fiddle whose finish you care anything about is important. And fiddle strings are not cheap. Like, these are student grade strings, and they were like 16 bucks off of somewhere. And the fancy pants strings I got from my better fiddle at home were like 30 something. Like, whew, somebody making money.
Not giving them away.
Yeah, not me.
How was it stringing the fiddle? Is it?
It takes some doing. Yeah. I need a little more experience with it before I try to tell anybody how to do it, because I kind of made a goat show out of it myself. But I got them on there, ball end strings, and the pegs up top, the big pegs up here in the headstock are friction. They're tapered into tapered holes, so those are friction based, which can be tricky. Sometimes you got to rub some rosin on them to get them to stick better. And then on most modern tailpieces, there are fine-tuner thingies that help you get things dialed in. So, yeah. Did we end up with a video? 3 videos. Well, we should run one. Nick has found some videos for you today.
Glenn, point of order, Glenn found 2 of them.
Glenn found 2 of them.
And
Okay.
one's from Vern.
Archives.
I got a Vern video. All right, well, here's the first one from Vern.
No, we're going to do the first one from Jim because he's out removing a tree stand someone put on his property without permission.
Oh.
Jim Morris's?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
according to Kim.
Down there in the hills. Things happen.
But, you know,
'Tis the season.
we're gonna
Deer
play a
hunting.
video from him.
All right, here's one from our good friend Jim Morris.
Here we go. Look up, look down that long, lonesome road. Hang down your head and cry, little girl. Hang down your head and cry. Well, I fall on my knees, begging you, please. Won't you stay with me, little girl? Won't you stay with me? I wish to the Lord I'd never been born or died when I was young, little girl. Died when I was young. Then I never would have kissed your red ruby lips or heard your lying tongue, little girl. Heard your lying tongue. Well, there's more than one, there's more than two. There's more pretty girls than you, my love. More pretty girls than you. Well, you told more lies than the stars in the sky. You never get to heaven when you die, little girl. Never get to heaven when you die. Here we go.
Awesome. Don't you love how some people just make it look effortless?
It's true.
I'm like watching him like he's hardly even moving. Oh, he's like sawing away like
We
a
summoned Jim. He's here.
That's good.
Jim!
It's good to see you, Jim.
Successfully returned from tree stand removal. Well, now we're going to do a little something something. A hobo song. A song about hobos and by a hobo. Let's make sure we got bass. It might be a little hot. A little hot on the bass. Give us another one there, Glenn Watt. All right. Well,
I won't plug it that hard. Turn it down.
see, but this isn't plugged into that. So that's only going to come in. Well, we'll see how it goes. Seems like it's coming through with some. All right. So this song was written by, get our cheat sheet. Actually, we got our cheat sheet over there too. It was written by a man named Goebel Reeves, who was one of the early country music figures. He fought in World War I, was injured, came back, spent some time traveling around as a hobo, claims to have taught Jimmy Rogers how to yodel, the sing and break man, and wrote a bunch of songs before kind of fading away into relative obscurity. And this is one of them. I didn't realize who had written this. I've heard it a number of times. It's called the Hobo's Lullaby. It's really a pretty song. A lot of people have covered it. I'm going to have a go at it here and try not to completely hose it up. I'm on the 6-string Coke Crate guitar I built a couple years ago. Glenn Watt on the G bass. Hopefully the levels are all right. Get my tempo set here. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Listen to the steel rails a-humming. That's a hobo's lullaby. Now do not think about tomorrow. Let tomorrow come and go. Tonight you're in a nice warm boxcar, safe from all the rain and snow. I know your clothes are torn and ragged, and your hair is swept with gray. But lift your chin and smile at trouble, for you'll have peace and rest someday. So go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Listen to the steel rails a-humming. That's a hobo's lullaby. Now do not let your heart be troubled. If the world calls you a bum, if your mother lives, she'd love you, for you're still your mother's son. I know the police cause you trouble, but they cause trouble everywhere. But when you die and go home to heaven, well, you'll find no policemen there. And when you die and go to heaven, all the trains there you can ride. The hardwood brakeman and the hobo ride together side by side. So go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by, and listen to the steel rails a-humming. That's the hobo's lullaby. Well, listen to the steel rails a-humming. That's the hobo's lullaby.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Very pretty.
Solid 80% of the chords correct in that one. But I'm working on learning, memorizing that song. Dan Woodman, who joined me on stage a couple of weeks back, he and I are starting to think about putting together a show, a train song show, train songs, hobo songs, and the like, and contacting some of the tourist railroads that are around here to see if we could perform said show on actual trains and such. So I got some learning to do. Jim Burt brings up a question, wondering how many kids these days know what a real hobo is. And I'd imagine probably a pretty small percentage. Glenn Watt probably remembers me bringing that very question up at a local children's museum. Kids, do you know what a hobo is? And all the parents were like, whoa.
Needle across the record.
Yeah, so there's that.
Well, I dare ask how many adults know what an actual hobo is as well.
Until I
But
worked here.
there you go. Yeah, you know what I'm
Really?
saying? At least by definition.
Have to put that on the application. Ron Mason's got to head out for a procedure. Good luck with that,
Hey.
buddy. Tom Petrie just logged in. Bill Nolan, Larry Douglas. Gonna go look up whether Mac Wiseman ever sang Hobo's Lullaby. It's possible. I'll tell you, a lot of the greats, the country greats have, especially the ones who lean more towards, I don't want to say outlaw music, but that genre. It's certainly not glittery, glamorous country. That's a little more deeper down. And like I say, the author of that, Goebel Reeves, spent a few years as a hobo riding around the country on freights, and a lot of the song, I got to dig deeper into his full song book, or the songs he wrote, but I've read that a lot of them had to do with those subjects. But speaking of hobos, how many people today know of them? Or it is fading. That whole piece of American history, and not just American, they were in Europe and elsewhere, but it really is, that chapter is closed and fading quick. That people, many of them chose to go on the road and travel around looking for work. A lot of them felt they had to. There was no other choice for them. There was nothing in their hometowns or cities, and they'd hear that there were jobs out west, and off west they'd go and work a ways. Then those jobs would dry up, and they'd hear there was work down south, and they'd beat their way down south, and kind of a vicious cycle sometimes for a while there. But that sort of migrant labor, people following the harvests, following the oil booms, following the timber camps and the mining, and building the railroads, all of that, the building of the country, the opening up of the West, and the full realization of what the United States is today, so much of that was based on migrant labor, and many of those were hobos. So it does play a very important part, a very important role in the history of the country. I'm still learning about all of it. I've got a stack of books. You can't see my hand. A stack of books
Way up there.
off cam, that I've read that's high and getting higher.
What's funny is Miranda and I were looking through the old yearbook from senior year, and apparently, I don't remember writing it, but I said I want to make music, and who knows, maybe be a hobo.
Maybe. So
There you
your
go.
senior year would harken all the way back to the venerable year of
06.
2006?
It's been a while.
Holy
It's been a
moly.
while.
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah. You're getting old,
Everybody
Ben
getting
Baker.
old.
13 years.
The next year will be, this coming year will be my 25th. And I was the class president, so technically I'm supposed to organize it, and
I did not know
they
that.
made a mistake in homeroom that morning, let me tell you, all those years ago. Well, let's run another video here. I see you got one on deck. Who dis and what they doing?
That is Tom S. from Rough Cut Cigars out there in Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago!
Hey,
He's a good player.
got a spaghetti basket there, Chef.
Fried.
All right.
Hey, Vern here with a song about time. Well, I killed my $150 step counter. Man, I can't believe it's true. And I think the reason it died, it just had too much to do. See, it had to comprehend taking down 30,000 steps per day. No warranty, no service center near. Oh dear. I recollect my next watch will be this here Timex at a third of the cost. It takes a licking.
Hey, we're back. Yeah. Thank you, Vern, for that. And Tom S. Thank you both. It's good stuff. I love his ending, that happy, expectant face there at the end. It's good stuff. So, you folks, I've been watching the comments here. You're keeping this discussion about hobos going. And it occurred to me, I was telling Glenn during those videos, our people, the people into cigar box guitars that are probably have a much higher likelihood of knowing what a hobo is or was and appreciating that compared to the general population. And that's one of the things that I love about y'all out there. And somebody mentioned that there are still people out there riding trains. These days, not so much out of necessity. Some of the younger ones do it for fun and thrills and all of that, but there's still some people out there riding, not many. Some of them still driven by the old things that drove some of the old-time hobos, that kind of wanderlust, that inability to stay in one place for very long. There's different names for it, that rambling urge. Actually, one of the songs I wrote about hobos kind of discusses that. It's a cold and a lonesome feeling when you know you've got to go. I've never fully fallen, I don't want to say victim, but experienced it myself. But I'll tell you what, the sound of a train horn in the distance makes me smile and makes me just a little bit think, you know, need to get moving again. Need to go see some new things, see what's over that next hill, what's just past the horizon. And that's what drove a lot of the old-time hobos, in addition to necessity. But the folks out there still riding, I think, probably understand that. One of them, Stoby the hobo, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube of his travels on trains. Unfortunately, he died doing what he loves a couple of years back. Got hit on a trestle in Baltimore. But there are still some others. Actually, when I was in Ohio several weeks ago, doing some train watching, as is my way, on the sides of some of the freight cars, especially covered hoppers, some of the oil tankers, and box cars. Of course, you got the big graffiti, the colorful spray-painted stuff. But if you look closer, usually at either end, near where the end platforms are or where the ladders are on the box cars, you can often see, much more subtle, usually just black Sharpie on the paint, the tags of modern train riders. They've usually got a little symbol that they draw, their name, their nickname, their moniker, if you will, using the old hobo terminology. They'll write that on there, and usually a month and a year. So I took a bunch of pictures, they're actually on this phone as we speak, of some of these hobo tags, because there happened to be a couple of trains going by nice and slow. One was squealing so bad, I swear I permanently damaged my hearing being that close to it, and my ears were ringing for hours afterwards. But I got some good photos, Freight Bandit and Creek, and some really interesting names, and some of them will write little sayings, messages to each other, or general either motivational or anti-motivational phrases. It's really interesting stuff when train watching. You know, I love the trains themselves, but it kind of adds a extra facet. And you know, it's weird, like up here in Dover a couple of weeks ago, I was down for the session, and a train was going by, and there was a covered grain hopper, and I saw Freight Bandit's tag go by, and just a little, I don't know who it is, never seen the person. It's kind of like seeing an old friend. I got a smile out of it. So, what are we doing now, Glenn Watt?
That is a great question. What are we doing now?
What?
Turkey in the straw.
Turkey in the straw. A few weeks back, somebody, this probably wasn't how they said it because it was just a written comment, but it was like, hey, turkey in the straw. So
That's how I heard it, though.
that's what we're now going to try to do. I'm going to bring that back up, bring this down. Oh, that's Nick. There we go. How about that? That's good level. Dinky dinky doo. Oh boy.
You got this.
We practiced this, folks, I swear. I swear. That was a little fast, Glenn Watt. So there is an interpretation of Turkey in the Straw. You know, with playing the fiddle, it's kind of funny when your bridge isn't straight.
Details.
Starting that off, like, oh crap, here we go, and I was like all tense, and I could hear it. Like, by the second time through, it started to relax a little and like start to feel it. So there's a whole lot goes into making one of these not sound like a cat being misused. Well, thank you. There's kind words scrolling by, and I appreciate it. A lot of work yet to go, but getting closer.
Yeah, buddy.
You haven't done Walk Corner yet.
Well, we are kind of coming up against it, but we still have a couple other
We
important
skipped
things.
Walk Corner.
It's all good, man. We got Walk Corner every week.
Ooh, this is an extended show today, folks.
Yeah.
Nothing heavy. Well, I got nothing else but Walk Corner.
Well, we got, I mean, it's going to be,
No, the announcements go at the end.
yeah, but I don't want to, all right.
If we skip Walk Corner, I'm not going to hear the end of it.
All right.
Do you
I'm
want
cool with
Walk?
it.
Do you want Walk Corner, or
It's-
should we just skip it this week?
it's
It's
gonna be-
almost 3.
Yeah, you guys, it's a long, well, it's not long, but it's, let's do
See,
it.
Jim Morris pointing out relaxation is the key. I need to learn that from you, Jim, because anytime Jim's playing, you can tell the man's relaxed. He's not. Actually, can I come down and do a workshop with you?
Yeah.
Jim, spend a couple days. I'll help you take tree stands down, whatever you want, and then you can teach me the secrets of fiddling. Anyway,
All right.
Don't skip it.
without further ado,
Dun, dun,
I got
dun,
nothing on
dun,
which-
Dun, 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 dun. It's Walk Corner.
are we
All
back?
right, I'm not going to race through this, but I also don't want to take too much of your time. I see there's a good few people like, hey, Marcel, thank you for your vote of confidence, man. Bill Nolan, Philip Taylor, Martin Tauber, Jimmy Burt, Kurt Gardner. Just want to say hi to you folks. I mean, haven't really said that much recently about that. Sounds good. All right, listen up. First up, we got I'm going to get right into it. First up, we got Gary Dubb. Gary W., a good old Gitty Gangster. And he is holding a license plates guitar. This is more of a wall hanger, he'll admit. As you'll see in the next photo, it's a longer, it's about, I think it's 25.5-inch scale. Yeah, I love it. Love it. It's a fretless guitar. It's a fretless license plates, kind of low profile-ish guitar, because then in this next photo you'll see, maybe you'll see, the strings, if you will, in air quotes, the strings are barbed wire, rusty old barbed wire. Now, I don't know how much cooler you can get than that. You get that shape of a conventional guitar. It's low profile, fits right on the wall. It puts up a 3-stringer, and it's barbed wire on the cool headstock, the whole 9 yards. So Gary W., if you see this, super impressive. I think that's cool. Thank you very much for sharing it.
You know, Glenn Watt, just to interject here, if anybody needs some old rusty barbed wire, I know where there's a couple of big spools that have been sitting out there for...
Really?
Out behind the mill here, there's a big spool along the river that's been there for probably 50 years.
Nice.
Anyway,
all right,
giddy out!
All right, let's see. Next up, we got from Cigar Box Nation, a stalwart and true, member of Cigar Box Nation, Brian Q, shared a simple photo of a canjo neck that he did by hand, a piece of poplar. What I love so much about this, Brian, if you see this, really psyched that you, stoked that you posted this on the Nation, because I love, although I don't build a ton of them myself, I love seeing canjos for being what they are, true folk art instruments that are relatively easy to build, that you can put together, play simple tunes on very quickly by yourself or with other people. I've seen Jim Morris, who's out there, more banjo, tear it up on canjos. And this thing, part of what I appreciate about it so much, aside from the hand-done poplar neck, is he's just snapped off some bamboo and is using those for frets. Just, you know, and you put a soup can on there. In this case, in his post on Cigar Box Nation, Brian Q wrote that he'd be using, I believe, a spam tin, so more of a spam joe. But I just love that. You can use the stuff that's basically laying around in your kitchen junk drawer in your garage and make yourself a musical instrument. And that is what this is all about. So good stuff, Brian Q. I really like that. Thank you for sharing that on Cigar Box Nation. Next up, we got Steve E. of Demon Dog Guitars. No, that's Randy Howitzer. I'm sorry, Randy H. over in Texas. And part of the reason I love this is because we shared a Radio Flyer wagon upright bass that Randy was building. I haven't seen progress pics on it yet. I hope to see them soon, but to kind of encourage him, I wanted to post a couple of pictures of his other instruments. He's been building for like over 11 years, I think he wrote. This is a 5-string banjo, something I have yet to dabble into. I haven't really actually built in a while, but...
Charles Dustin Allround out there.
Charles Dustin Allround?
Haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Charles. So I just think it's cool to get this 5-string banjo. And next up, I think there's a cake tin or a cookie tin instrument also from Randy over in Texas. I love the headstock, like that scroll-ish headstock. And part of the reason why I wanted to include this particular instrument from Randy here is that it is that tin. You're going to see a ton of these tins coming through because of the holiday season. This is an awesome opportunity to pick some up, you know, before people throw them in the recycling bin or the trash or up in the, you know, up above the upper cupboard where they get lost for the next 15 years. Take them down, start building instruments with them. So this is an awesome example of that. Randy does fancy work. And I mean that in the best possible sense. Like, he does awesome work. I hope that, I can't remember recycled instruments in Texas. I'm sorry, I don't remember the business name, Randy. If you're out there, please post it so that people can go check you out. It's recycled's in there. Resonance? Yeah, maybe recycled resonance. I'm sorry, Randy. But Randy Howitzer, Randy H. Check out his handmade musical instruments. Next up, we have from Pornish Studios. This is posted from, he posted this picture on the Nation along with others of the 5th annual Republic of Texas Cigar Box Guitar Festival. And what I love about what, you're like, these are just guitars on the ground. Exactly. Of all the vendors that set up there, Pornish, he took pictures of a lot of different things. This is just one of them. Somebody came without a table, without a tent, without business cards, all that jazz, just plopped their guitars on the ground and sold them. And sold those guitars. That DIY seller right there just sold those 3 guitars. So that's, you don't necessarily need to go, you know, with all these to these festivals with fancy cages and wall setups and you got to spend $1,000 to make 10. Like, you can go with the instruments that you make, not throw them, but put them on the ground, talk about them, play them, you know, make eye contact with people, be friendly, and they will sell.
I see a little amp there, so it looks like they were getting played.
Yep, little microcube. Smart man. So I don't know who was the builder who sold these or who did this, but Pornis was kind enough to share it, and I think that was awesome. So good stuff. Next up, sorry, thank you. Next up, we have Wonky Man, another one from Wonky Man. Part of the reason I wanted to include, seriously, slow it down, Glenn. Part of the reason why I wanted to include this, I live in the Northeast, I talk fast, is that last week, I think it was last week, we had some Wonky Man's one-string guitars on here that had those eyeballs underneath, in the sound hole, underneath the string. He posted this recently on The Nation as well, again, with those two kind of like Halloweenish type eyes. These are not sound holes or embellishments, but it is a barn wood guitar, and I think it's gorgeous. In the next image, you'll see kind of, I think in the next image, you'll see like a blow up, what do you call that? Exploded view, thank you. So you can see, I don't know how much of a acoustic guitar it is. It's more of a semi-solid body, but you can see the template, and you can see just really simple stuff, people. Those are the solid pieces of metal there, are the ones that go in like those sliding closet doors, and then the rings are like curtain rod rings, and it's a tailpiece. In between the eyeballs is like a drawer pull, and then the two eyeballs are from like a Halloween store or something. I mean, it's just good stuff. So and he's got a Gitty pickup in there, and Gitty tuners, and Gitty strings. Yeah, man, like just, you don't need to break the bank getting all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, he's using really simple stuff to make really awesome guitars. So good stuff, Wonky Man. I hope you're out there. Next up, we have, I'm gonna fly by the seat of my pants here. I'll just wait for the prompt. Jake F. Jake F. built this stellar guitar with a Wickedbucker left-hand model, by the way, for all those of you who've noticed, with a sweet Wickedbucker, and next to it he has a matching amp. So I think in the next image what we'll see is the back side of that amp. Why it has two batteries, I don't know, I can't remember. But you can see the on and off, and that he used a Gitty amp kit to power this thing, and the LED right above it. And I think in the last image for this particular entry or the submission, what you'll see is the amp also serves as a shelf for beverages. Not that I endorse this particular beverage or the company or whatever it may be, but it is a beverage shelf, and I think it is a top-notch matching set between the guitar and the amplifier. I think he did a great job. So that was Jake F. I'm glad that you submitted that. Thank you very much, Jake. What do we have next? We have Miku. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I don't know. It's a funny one. M-I-K-U. Over on The Nation, hand carved this headstock, and you can see like, it's kind of like Angry Bird or like an Aztec type thing. Whatever it is, it looks really cool, because in the next image you'll see a more finished view of it. Keep this in your mind, and now look at it. Boom! Look at this one. So he's got through the eye. He's got the tuner, and then he's got that. For a moment you might think braces, but I'm thinking it's kind of like that mummified, stitched mouth closed type thing on the headstock. I just love hand carved headstocks. It's something I'll never, ever, 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 ever do. So when I see other people doing it, it's never ever. I can't say it enough. That's not the kind of effort that I'm going to put into my life. But I'm glad to see other people doing it because it makes cool things. So thank you very much, Mika, for contributing that to The Nation. Next up, if we have something else, let's see, what do we got? Well, I don't know. I messed up the folder, so see, this one is from Pat C. This is going back in the day. Pat C. I was rifling through old images on The Nation, and the reason I wanted to share this is because, not just because that upright bass in the foreground, played by the young lady, which is very similar in aesthetics to the upright bass that Ben built here on the Gitty stage, but the other reason is because you see the young lady playing the upright bass, the gentleman playing the cigar box guitar, and in the background, or further deeper into the image, the third generation, grandma's playing a banjo. And I just can't get enough of that. Just seeing a family, multiple generations come together, even if it's just one song, just to come together playing, and then in this case, homemade musical instruments, enjoying what the holidays are about for a lot of us. I don't want to define what holidays are about, but defining for what they're about for a lot of us, and that's spending time with family. And I don't know that there's many better ways to spend it than to be by playing music with one another. So really good stuff. Next up, if we have another one, let's see what we got. Ayo! Yes, this one's also from the archives on CBN. It just warmed my heart. I got no stories for you, man. But if you see two children focusing, their attention on a handmade musical instrument that was built, this is Kevin K. built by Kevin Kay and Dad. Kevin Kay built this, and his kids are sitting there and just, like I said, focusing on a handmade musical instrument. I can't think of, again, a better way to just to spend time with a child and to see them, even for only a moment, even if this was only for a moment, to see their attention so laser-like focused on this thing that you made with your own hands. That's some pretty cool stuff. So I think that might be Watt Corner.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, it
wow.
is. Hey,
Oh, we're back.
There it is. All right.
I didn't think it was going to come back quite
Cool.
that quick. So that, aside from a couple of announcements,
Yeah,
that's
before I forget, because I know I didn't. Ben mentioned Bert and Philbrick earlier, posting videos on Facebook especially. Bert also had been talking to another Gitty Gangster, Steve and Richard, both from Maine, by the way.
both at the first inaugural Maine Cigar Box Guitar Festival.
Yeah.
We were glad to meet them there.
Yes, and similar to the Cigar Box Nation Christmas album, Steve and Bert were talking about possibly trying to organize an occasion where multiple people throughout the community, send one person an audio file, and we all collaborate to make a song or an album.
Like just add tracks.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So it would be quite an
all
undertaking.
on one song?
I
or
think it was kind of
multiple
open-ended.
songs?
Yeah, kind of open-ended. But I think that's a great idea. So if you are friends with Bert and Philbrick, Bert P, Bert's Blues Box Guitars, Burton, over on or on the Friends of Gitty Facebook group, I asked that you maybe kind of nudge him and see where he's at with
Nudge,
that.
Wink, wink. Say
Yep.
no more.
Yep. And that's because that's a great idea. Anyways,
A couple of announcements, Glenn. You found that our buddy Stacy Mitchhart is going to be playing in Windsor, Ohio. I'm from Ohio, and I'm not sure where Windsor is.
it's a big state.
I know he often plays down around Cincinnati. He's got a lot of people in Cincinnati, but I met Stacy Mitchhart down in Nashville, Tennessee when I went down for one of the NAMM shows, and he's a hell of a blues man and has an awesome band. And for a good while now, years now, he has been incorporating cigar box guitars into his act. Just wails on them. Ah,
He really does.
ah.
He may not be a full-time, he may not build his own.
He
but-
does. He has.
Does he?
He
Okay.
does and has. Yeah.
But man, that dude can play.
I saw him. Well, he can even play it with his tongue.
Ah, interesting.
Saw it happen. Wasn't sure what I was seeing, but I saw it. Anyway, he's going to be down there in Windsor, Ohio at the barn at Hart's Grove.
Cool.
And another just little announcement. Our good buddy AJ Gaither out there in Kansas City is gigging most weekends. He's going to be at the Old Shawnee Pizza Place in Kansas City this Saturday. AJ did a live video yesterday. He's been making kazoos. He's shucking and jiving out
hustling.
there, man. He's always moving. So it's good to see that. And Glenn had posted on Friends of Gitty
I don't remember. Which
earlier this week somewhere about let us know about
Friends of Gitty.
gigs, about if you're going to be out there playing. I want to expand on that. Even if a few friends are getting together, if you're going to a jam session or an Irish session or a bluegrass session or a church singing or whatever, if you're going to be out there making music on your cigar box guitar, let us know about it. Not to try to get other people to go, but we want to hear about you out there making music on these instruments that you build, that others have built. I did a photo of the event, certainly would be cool, so we could share that too, but we want to know, and not just so we can, have it in the show, but letting other people know, like, hey, I'm out there, I'm doing this, and then maybe afterwards, like, it was good, this went great, I need to work on this, here's something I learned about some of the challenges that you sometimes face when playing with others. Because I've long said there's no better way to improve your own playing than to play with others. You have to adapt to them, they adapt to you. It's just a great thing. Marty Tauber dropping a bit of news there for us.
What's that?
The second Maine CBG Festival is a go.
Hey,
For
great
this
job, Marty.
coming year,
Nice.
2020.
Nice.
Also got the Christmas album submissions
Yeah.
started.
CBN Christmas album. Get over there to Cigar Box Nation. I believe there's a big banner post on there about it. It was mentioned in today's Cigar Box Nation newsletter that hopefully all of you get. So many good things happening. told him I was gonna at least play this quickly.
Sorry.
Shout out to YouTube. We will find a better way to stream comments from over there. But we're doing our best.
Oh, I had you turned all the way down, Nick. It's all right.
Yeah.
I keep getting that knob and the condenser mic knob or whatever. I get confused, people.
Told you, he's turning me down. Censorship!
All right, this is just gonna be a quick little Irish thing. This is the conventional violin I repaired, so you can kind of compare and contrast its sound to the. Somewhere in there is a D note. Well, I'll tell you, it's a full scale. Anyway, I already said all that. It's hard. Thanks for playing along. We'll just leave it on the helm. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Say the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And we came to you live from CB Gitty. Well, we come to you live very nearly every Friday afternoon at 2. Almost. Said we come to you live every Friday afternoon at 2. And if we don't see ya, don't know what we'll do. Saying all you need is a stick, a box, and some strings. Some strings. Saying all you need is a stick, a box, and some strings. Well, you put them all together, you know they're gonna ring. What is it?
Gitty Gang Show.
It's the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
Say the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
on
It's
now.
the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Nick's busy picking, so he's not going to turn us off. But that's all we got, folks. Thanks again for joining us. Any luck? Well, Gordon, maybe not next week. I think the Gitty Gang Show is taking Black Friday off so that we can try to keep up with the influx, the tsunami, if you will, of orders. But the week after, that'd be the first week of December, won't it? Woo-hoo!